Okay, handy little trick for doing liquids in a cup. All right, so I have here, I have my cup and I have a liquid as the inner surface there. I have the top surface here. Now I have the top surface. I've applied a shader to that, where I have my liquid bump map tossed in there, and I have a water tossed in. And I've tossed on um, the concentric ripple attributes, and so that's something to play with, but not the focus of this video. And then the sides have a shader on it. Okay, so I'm trying to do Coca-Cola or something like that. Um, and so that's for the side walls of this. Okay, and so I could also map in the bubbles and that sort of stuff into that texture if I wanted. Okay, so these are the two pieces of geometry to form the liquid. And let's just do a quick isolate on those guys and close that out. And also just turn on auto load new objects. Okay, now here we go. So first thing I'm going to do, and I've already done this once, okay, and so the order of things does matter. So I'm going to create a nonlinear deformer and just toss a wave deformer on this plane, which is going to be the top of my liquid. And so in the wave 1, I can then change the amplitude, okay, and I can change the wavelength, maybe up to something a bit larger. It depends on the effect you're going for. And all right, so I'm going to expand out the outer radius there, and that way I can just sort of offset this all a little bit over here. I think the amplitude is still a little too much, 0.1, sorry, 0.01. There we go. All right, so fairly small, maybe a little bit larger than that. Okay, right. And so I'll just set the animation on this puppy, and so key the offset and do -2 at frame 100. So now I have a little bit of animation there. Okay, but getting the deformer on there is sort of the critical thing. Let's see. Also, I need to make sure that gets into my hierarchy correctly. So everything moves together. Great. Okay, all right, get that out of the way. Okay, so far, so good. Next, what I'll do is I've gone to the surfaces menu, and I have the surface menu shelf buttons up there. But okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab both of these two surfaces and do a intersect surfaces, making sure that I'm doing it on both surfaces. All right, and hit apply. Great. So now what that's done for me is I have a 2D curve on each of these two surfaces. I then, what I'll do is I'll do a trim. And I usually stay away from trims, but once in a while they are useful. And so in Edit NURBS, I can grab the trim tool and say, hey, I want to keep this section. I hit enter, and voila. Okay, it's chopped off the outer area of it. And then I hit G to reactivate that tool. And so I'm going to go way down here to the bottom and say, hey, keep this section, hit enter, and there I have my trim. And so now as that modifies there, okay, as my wave deformer does its job, I guess I will crank it up so it's easier for you to see, not because I think it's necessarily good. There we go. All right, so there you can see the effects of this wave deformer on that surface. All right, so that's all really, well and good. Um, I'll group those guys together. All right, oops, I said group. There we go. Okay, and do a modify center pivot. Modify. There we go. And so here on frame 0, I will key it down here. And key selected. And then on frame 100, I will key it up to there. Notice the whole thing fails once I go past the top of the sides of the cylinder there. Okay, so there I will do that keyframe. Great. And so there I have a decent little of a effect. Let's turn everything back on. Okay. And so we can say we're pretty happy with that. Go midway through and take a render. Okay, the glass shader and all that's another video on Fronter. Yeah, okay, I've maybe have played a little too much with the refractions on that. Okay, so that's definitely a small problem there. All right, fine. Getting too clever. All right, so let's take this guy out of the multiply and see what that looks like now. Get that so we can. Okay, so there we go. That's looking a lot better. Have some intersection issues. Probably need to cheat a little bit. Okay, it's all cheating, but I'm just gonna scale that up a smidge just to get a little bit of space between those two surfaces. Let's go a little further along. Yeah, so just want to make sure. So now there's a tiny gap between them. So that maybe that helps it. Yep, that seems to have done it, because the polys were interacting with each other. Okay, so to dress this up a little bit further, though, I'll create a locator. Create and locator. Just toss that off to the side and say ground locator. And then I will select that top surface. Oops, I need the group above it. All right, hierarchy. Okay, so grab this guy, and then I'll pop to my animations menu, do a constrain and orient. Okay, and so what this will allow me to do is, as I tilt this, okay, the orient constraint keeps that liquid looking, going horizontal. Now, yes, that will break at the top of the the inner side surface. So you have to make sure you have enough geometry up here if you're going to go out to the edge. Okay, I didn't do that much. But there we got a nice interactive liquid that we can play with. As you see, it fills up very nicely, and it always stays level like liquid does. Oops, yeah, so you have to be really careful, that you don't spill. Okay, but so there's a nice little effect for you. Hope that helps. Have fun.